Admiral Zexathara studied the tactical display with satisfaction. The third planet of this unremarkable system glowed blue and green beneath swirling white clouds, a perfect source of water, rare minerals, and biomass for the hegemony's expanding fleets. The indigenous species had been classified as Level 2 on the Galactic Development Scale, primitive tool users who had barely achieved orbital flight. Standard protocol dictated a simple resource extraction operation. Begin atmospheric. Bombardment of the major population centers, Zexathara commanded from the bridge of the dreadnought Eternal Dominion. Leave the mining sites intact. The fleet's weapons charged with a familiar hum. Across dozens of worlds, the hegemony had executed this same procedure. Pacify the locals, extract the resources, move on. The humans, as they called themselves, would join the long list of extinct species that had stood between the Empire and progress. The first salvo of plasma bolts streaked toward the planet's surface. But something unexpected happened. Instead of the usual panicked surrender transmissions, the human communications networks exploded with coordination signals. Their primitive nuclear arsenals, previously dismissed as toys by hegemony intelligence, suddenly became the least of their concerns. The humans weren't cowering or begging for mercy. They were organizing. "Sir," Communications Officer Veltar reported, his voice tight with confusion. "We're detecting massive energy buildups across multiple continents. It appears the humans are redistributing their resources." "Impossible," Zexathara growled. "They lack the infrastructure for coordinated resistance." The Admiral's confidence cracked when the first human ship appeared on sensors, then another, then hundreds more. Sleek vessels that hadn't existed in the intelligence reports powered by fusion drives that burned impossibly bright. In the 72 hours since the bombardment began, humanity had somehow retrofitted their entire space program. "How?" Zexathara whispered. The answer came in the form of a transmission from the planet's surface. A human female, her face streaked, with dirt and determination, stared directly into the camera. "This is Director Sarah Chen of the Emergency Coalition. You made a mistake coming here. You see, when you threaten humans, we don't just fight back. We evolve." The tactical display exploded with new contacts. Human ships poured from hidden launch sites, their movements coordinated with mathematical precision. But these weren't the clumsy rockets the hegemony had observed months earlier. These ships moved like predators, their hulls bristling with weapons that shouldn't have existed. "Sir!" Tactical Officer Crindall shouted. "Multiple incoming missiles. They're using our own plasma technology." The first volley of human ordnance slammed into the hegemony fleet's outer perimeter. Ships that had conquered a dozen worlds vanished in brilliant flashes of superheated gas. The humans had somehow reverse-engineered hegemony weapons from the bombardment debris and improved upon them. But the real shock came when the humans began boarding operations. Zexathara watched in horror as human soldiers, wearing powered armor that moved like liquid metal, tore through the dreadnought's hull. They moved with terrifying efficiency, their weapons cutting through hegemony defenses like they were made of paper. These weren't the primitive bipeds from the intelligence reports. These humans fought like they had been born for war. "Fall back to minimum safe distance," Zexathara ordered. "Prepare for tactical withdrawal." "Sir," Veltar's voice was barely a whisper. "The humans are jamming our FTL communications. And sir, they're not just defending anymore." The tactical display showed human ships moving in attack formations, surrounding the hegemony fleet with surgical precision. Every maneuver, was calculated, every strike designed to disable rather than destroy. They weren't just fighting, they were learning, adapting to hegemony tactics in real time. Then the second transmission arrived. This time, it was a human male, standing on what appeared to be the bridge of a captured hegemony cruiser. Behind him, human technicians worked at alien consoles with disturbing familiarity. Admiral Zex Thara, the human said, somehow knowing exactly who was in command. I'm Captain Marcus Webb, formerly of the United Earth Defense Force. Currently, I suppose I'm the commanding officer of your battlecruiser Iron Fist. Thank you for the donation to our fleet. Zex Thara's blood ran cold. The humans had not only captured one of his ships, they were operating it. You came here thinking we were primitives, Webb continued, but you didn't understand what makes humans special. We don't just adapt to survive, we adapt to win. Every weapon you fire at us, we learn from. Every ship you lose, we improve upon. Evolution isn't just our history, Admiral. It's our weapon. The human captain leaned forward, and Zex Thara saw something in his eyes that made the hegemony's greatest warrior take a step back. It wasn't anger or hatred. It was the cold, calculating fury of a predator that had found its prey. Here's what's going to happen, Webb said. You're going to send a message to your hegemony. Tell them that Earth is off limits. Tell them that humanity doesn't just defend, we remember. And if you ever come back, we won't just be waiting for you. The transmission showed human ships already moving toward the jump point, their hulls gleaming with stolen hegemony technology. We'll be coming for you. The last thing Admiral Zex Thara saw before his flagship's engines failed was Earth growing larger in the view screen. The humans weren't content to simply win this battle. They were going to study every piece of hegemony, technology, learn every secret, and when they were ready, the Empire had wanted Earth's resources. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous, human potential. And in the vast cosmos where strength determined survival, humanity had just announced they intended to thrive. In the emergency meeting of the Hegemony High Command 3 days later, Admiral Zex Thara delivered his report with shaking hands. The Empire had lost an entire fleet to a species they had underestimated. The humans hadn't just survived first contact, they had turned it into an evolution engine. The vote to quarantine the Sol system was unanimous, but in the depths of space, human ships were already moving toward their first target. The Empire had taught them that the universe was not empty. Now humanity would teach the universe that they were no longer alone. The age of human expansion had begun.